Hello, 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 and welcome back to some more Rune Factory 2 Watering Can Only, where we have a lot of stuff to get in the next however many episodes this is going to take. Gosh, wait, how much extra stuff do I got? I got this, and all that stuff. Okay, cool. So yes, welcome back to some more Rune Factory and everything that's brought to mind by that. Don't think we necessarily need the extra levelizer. Let's put these eggs away. Let's put away this milk as well.
How are you gonna grow stuff in the refrigerator?
Well, hello, Azura. Welcome to Runes.
Hi.
Hi. We are sorting our seeds and whatnot here. Alright. So we're also going to need some tools. We're going to need a hammer, an axe, and this whatever thingy. Yeah, no, that should be about it. So I believe we should only need one bag of each of the other types of seeds that we need. Go to bed, call it a day, and sleep. So, Azura, do you remember the 8 different types of seeds we need?
No.
Oh, good thing I've written it down and kept a notepad open since then.
Good.
So much extra sheer nonsense. Just for, you know, a bit of extra padding to make the game take just a little bit longer. So, I guess might as well just go out with it then. The reason why there wasn't an episode 2 days ago was because I was busy making a character for a new D&D campaign. Well, I say a new campaign. New to me. Apparently their game's been going for, I think they said about 2 years, and they made it to level 5. Person planning a 1 to 20 campaign that should take a few decades. So, and gosh,
Yeah. And you
communication
had
was
so much fun playing it, didn't you?
communication was dreadful pretty much the whole way. I find the ad on Roll20, the LFG on Roll20, and I asked them because they're like, oh, Sunday at like 10 a.m. for the sessions, 10 a.m. my time zone specifically. It's like, oh, well, I have like a prior engagement at 3, so like, how long is the session gonna be? Because if it's like 5 hours or more, I can't make it. So instead of just answering me, so he's sending me a message on Roll20 to answer, he instead uh, asks me for my, like, Discord, like, thing, so he can friend me and just tell me on Discord instead. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. It seems like fun anyway. And then I get told, I asked quite a few questions about it, trying to understand the game a bit more. Gestalt, or Gestalt, whatever. Starting level 4, 3,600 gold. Even though I think for level 4 it's supposed to be 5,400. And that the game should be about 4 hours per session.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll start making a character then, because remember, I'm not on, like, their World 20, so I can't just join in the game and make a sheet on there, so whatever, I have a D&D character sheet, like, ready to go. So I'm like, okay then, start working on a character sheet. The next day, I finally get an invite link to their server, where I can start, chatting with people. This is, and so is, I think, Friday when I joined, Saturday when I got into the server. The game is supposed to be on Sunday. So, spend, much of Saturday preparing, planning, making character design, figuring out what I want. I barely know what the other players are doing. I get like, okay, yeah, these are the classes that they're all playing. That's it. Try to talk to the other players. Most of them are rather absent, so I don't really get a good vibe for what the players are playing. I don't know, like, what is or isn't allowed, like, specifics-wise. I don't know how optimized the characters are or not, or anything like that. So it's like, okay, well, eventually I send the DM my character sheet that I've been working on. It's like, okay, what do you think? And he's like, oh, well, can you explain certain aspects of this? Like, can you explain your shield? And I'm like, it's a tower shield. It's like, oh. And turns out that the DM had actually lied to me. It wasn't level 4 starting funds 3,600. It was actually level 5 starting funds 4,500. But the DM had forgotten about that, and so didn't say that.
You'd think the DM, would be able to keep better track of his own damn game.
Apparently there are 2 games, and the other game is still level 4, but the one that needed an extra player was level 5. It's so difficult to keep track when you have 2, I say, with as much sarcasm as I am able to personally manage. So, here I am, day before the game, still haven't, still don't really know what I'm doing. Want to try to make the character. Had to look through, like, the house rules section on the Discord, because you'd think that if you had house rules that affected character creation, you would tell the players that are making characters. But no, I had to search that out on the Discord myself to find out certain aspects, like, oh, if you want to buy anything that's magic, you have to pay twice as much. And we're already under in wealth by level. Like, so there I am looking for, it's like, okay, what are some cool, like, non-magical things I can, buy and let my character have so I can actually use things. It's like, I want, things. I kind of need, like, things. Alright, I need 4 of that and 72 of that. And, oh my gosh. Okay. And then, so I got my character about, 90-ish% done. I haven't actually had, like, a proper conversation with the DM about it. I'd sent them the sheet. They'd asked, like, 3 questions about it. I explained them. They said nothing after that. So it's like, okay. It was, can you explain the shield? the diplomacy score, and the feats. It's like, okay, well, the shield is Darkwood. That's, like, on the SRD, so I don't know what book it's in, but it's on the, like, it's on, like, the website that has the D&D 3.5e info. Whatever, it just makes it weigh half as much, but it costs an extra 450. And it has, like, these such and such things. These are the books that they're from. Like, here's the links where you can read up what these things do. The diplomacy score. So, level 5, which means I can put 8 ranks into it. I'm trying to remember, because I had, like, a plus 23 to diplomacy. So I had... Hold on, wait. So I believe that was 8 ranks. Plus, you get a +2 if you have 5 ranks of bluff, and +2 for 5 ranks of sense motive. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus I had the Nymph's Light feat for an extra +2 to all, like, charisma-based checks. So that's a 14. Plus I had a +5 to charisma, so that was a 19. I try to remember what the other 4... Right. 2 were from traits that the DM allows the players to choose 2 traits from a list. So I chose Honest and Polite from the list that the DM provided that each give a +1 to diplomacy, so 20, 21. And the other 2 were from the Negotiator feat that the DM basically requires you to take an extra feat from a list that the DM provides, and the Negotiator feat is one of those feats. So plus 23 total to diplomacy. We'll see from things that the DM either has specifically allowed for or has required. I'm still missing something on top. Oh. Mayonnaise. And so it's like, okay, well that explains the diplomacy and then the feats. At level 1, you get 1 starting feat. Since my character is a human, because the DM requires that all player characters are human, I'm forced to get a second feat at level 1. Don't get to choose it, just have to have a second feat at level 1. The DM in the homebrew section allows for flaws, again from a list, and each flaw taken adds an extra feat. And in that same homebrew section, the DM has stated that you can have up to 3 flaws. So, feat 3, feat 4, and feat 5. Plus, as I said before, in the background section for character creation, you must take a bonus feat from one of a list, and I had taken that Negotiator feat. So, 6 feats level 1 from things that the DM has required. So it's like, okay, this is how I have the 6 feats. Here's, like, the links to all the info of all of the feats. So the DM had said that they allow, like, all official stuff and all third-party stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, this is from, like, Races of Stone and, like, Complete Arcana and stuff. Like, books that... Like, if you're allowing first-party stuff, I'm pretty sure at least some of this... I'm pretty sure this is, like, first-party Wizards of the Coast. If you want to disallow it, okay, but... It's like, here's why I have all the feats, here's what they are.
Didn't know what they were talking about or lied on several instances.
Yes. So anyway, Sunday comes along. I'm there on the server at like 9 a.m., you know, trying to chat with the people and stuff. Voice call starts about 9:30. I joined about like 9:40. It's like, okay, DM still hasn't given me a full okay for the character, and my character's not fully done. I have like 6 skill... I think I have like 3 skill points I can still put in. I guess I could do like... Because I wanted to run some things by the DM. It's like, okay, like, my character's backstory, which I haven't spoken a word to the DM about. I wonder if, instead of working on a character sheet, the DM was expecting me to just, here's my character backstory, make a character sheet for me. Okay. It's like, I had a backstory in mind. I hadn't been able to tell the DM about it, but I had a backstory in mind.
So they tried making one up for you?
No, 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 no. Like, one of the house rules is that the characters get get one rank in profession for free. And I was going to be, it's like, okay, well, how about like some sort of like clerical work? What would be like, you know, working in a church? A paladin themed character, church work, sounds good. I don't know, maybe like scribe, writing stuff in. I was gonna ask the DM what they thought about it and then put my extra skill points in that. So, time of this session begins, 10 a.m. I think we have all the players in the game now. And the DM decides, oh, let's, like, go around and, like, talk to each other. You know, like, introduce ourselves. AKA, the two new people introduce themselves to everyone else. Everyone who's already in the game, don't introduce yourselves to the new players. Other player introduces themselves, blah, blah, blah. Things seem to go fine. I introduce myself, giving the same, like, the same in relation points that the other person did. It's like, hey, this is my name, this is how long I've been playing D&D. Like, this is the kind of, sort of, like, character that I've designed. And one of the people are like, how long did you say you've been playing D&D? It's like, I've been playing for, like, so and such many years. Like, and how long have you been on Discord? It's like, not 100% sure, but like you can click on a profile and it sees like, yeah, I've been on Discord like 6 years. And the person goes like, oh. I'm like, what, have we played together before? Like, it wouldn't be, so I'm not, it's like, yeah. I mean, we very well could have, is what I said. And about, I don't know, 5 seconds after that, very short time after the person goes, oh, I get kicked out of the server. So, what I'm imagining happened was that that player was all like, so either A, that player was all like, oh, Claire, we played in like a game before and it went totally wrong and I totally blame Claire for everything, because everyone blames me for everything at this point. I've stopped really caring about that. Oh yeah, totally blame Claire for everything that had happened to me. You should totally kick her from the server. And the DM was all like, okay then, and just kicked me. Or the DM realized, this is just, you know, off the wall thinking here, that I didn't have the voice of a heart woman or something. And it was all like, oh, you're just a person, and kicked me. Because, like, I don't necessarily think it would be that. There were other women in that voice chat who had apparently been in the game. And they weren't, like, you know, trying to seduce people with every word that they said. It could have been, oh, this person who goes by Claire obviously sounds like a guy. But I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to kick them. And frankly, I wouldn't doubt it if that was the case. Because people do be like that. But it's like, person kicks me from the game, won't even say why, and it's like, yeah, what? You're trying to make believe, like, you're the good person in this scenario? Like, you could try telling someone why you're banning them. And they also banned me on Roll20, so I can't even message them about it. I can't even look at their, like, game page anymore. I was already on the game page, so I was able to, like, send one of the other players a message, like, hey, do you have any idea why I got banned? But that was yesterday, and I still haven't heard back from them. I don't necessarily think that that player banned me, I think they just ignored me. And if I had known that I was going to get banned off the Roll20, I would have, like, you know, right click, open a new tab on all the players, including the, and also the DM, and to message all of them, like, excuse me, I was banned. Any idea why? Because after spending a solid 2 days building a character with basically no help from the DM actively lying to me about stuff, and then being all like, "Oh yeah, fifth level. That's what I said." It's like, dude, I can screenshot our conversation. You said level 4. I had practically like spreadsheets up about it. All right, cabbage and toy head. Well, at least I don't need an emery flower to beat the game. What do you think? Should I try growing one anyway?
Yes.
Probably should, yeah. 54,000. That is a decent chunk of money. I'm gonna try buying all of the other stuff I need first. So, here.
Boy, this sure is a great game with like 3 songs.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Turnip and a white cabbage, huh? I guess the turnip and white cabbage was winter. Yams and carrots.
Cowards.
Carrots. So yeah, so now I want to, you know, be in part of a D&D game. But the big issue about D&D games is that people are pretty much only running 5th edition. And I'm not a big fan of 5th edition, because I still like the creativity of, like, 3rd edition, 3.5 edition. That 5th edition just doesn't really offer unless the DM really pulls a lot of strings.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to play as an Intelligent Shield in 3.5 edition, it's basically no more difficult than making a regular character of that level. I played as an Intelligent Shield in 5th edition, and the DM had to put so much work into figuring out how the heck that would be able to work. Because in 3rd edition, 3.5 edition, someone else already put in all of the work for all of this stuff. I guess I could make... Okay, so I need one of these. Eight bouts of that. So I joined some Discord servers that say that they are tagged with D&D and also LGBT. But both of the servers are really, like, dead.
That's unfortunate.
You know what's a bad sign when you go into a new server and the general chat hasn't had a single person message in it for like a week? Of course, sometimes you go into servers and the general chat is actually like the unregistered general chat. It's just for the plebs who haven't, you know, shown off their ID to the owners of the server, whatever it was. Okay, so I need a little bit more. Need about 11,000 more money. I'm gonna sell that. Oh, because I already had some neutral agent. And I'm sure I'll get some money by exploring and stuff. Anyway. It's like... how do I properly explain this without sounding almost conceited? There are different ways that people play Dungeons and Dragons. It's even if they're playing the same game, the thematics behind it and the thought process that goes into playing it are, and well, can be vastly different. So from what I have experienced, it seems like a lot of people play D&D in the vein of, like, I am going to be watching Lord of the Rings sort of a style. Or heck, actually, for a lot of people, it's not even just Lord of the Rings style. This is completely serious. Like, these are actual real people going in, fighting enemies. Like, things that happen for a reason, etc., etc. Like, you have to be careful of what you say. Anyone can stab you in the back. That new rogue pal friend that you had made, actually, they're a secret agent, and they're going to steal all the money from you, etc. Like, you know, dreadfully serious and real game. Everything is very, very serious. Some people play it as, this is my single-player game, and these 6 other people are here to help my single-player game feel better. I'm sure you've dealt with people like this in the past. This isn't,
Yep.
like, for the record, this is not limited strictly to Dungeons and Dragons. This is just how some people are in real life. And some people play it in a, oh, nothing really matters. It's just a game. Why should I take a game seriously? Games are for little children. I'm, like, better. There's nothing to take seriously here. So what if the king was murdered? Lol, bet he deserved it. And it's like, all 3 of these are groups of players I do not like to play with, but people won't just put themselves into one of these categories because they know, well, except the first one. But for the other 2, they won't put themselves in those categories and tell you that they are these kinds of people. Because they know that people don't like those kinds of people. It's like, well, I can't have my solo game with other people encouraging me if I can't find other people to, you know, want to sit there and watch as my PC that has every single class ability does everything by themselves. Or it's like, you know, my rogue can't steal from the rest of the party if there's no rest of the party to steal from. And it's like, I'm not entirely certain, like, what my style of play is, but it's definitely not super serious. But it is like, we are here to do something together and for a specific reason. Like, it's not, you know, the most serious thing in the world, but you gotta at least try to take it seriously, because it is, you know, a time investment of other people. It's not supposed to be a time investment of, oh, they are doing a chore. It's supposed to be a, I am having a good time here and want to keep doing this thing, sort of a time investment. And so if you screw the situation for everybody else, they're not going to have a good time, and then you've lost D&D. Simple as that. Don't take it uber seriously, but make sure everyone is having a good time. And I guess this is a headspace I get into because I've DM'd more than I've played in the game. Which, I don't know, maybe that's also a problem. Maybe that's why maybe that's why I like playing, you know, assistance-based characters. Because I'm so used to being a DM and, like, wanting the party to advance, I still can't get myself into the headspace of, I am the player and the DM is supposed to work for me. It's like, these things that, like, some players do, if the DM does it, the whole party will, like, you know, stop playing with them. But players are apparently just allowed to do it anyway, and no one can tell them otherwise because, hey, I'm a player too, blah, blah, blah. If, as the DM, I just decide, oh yeah, while your party is sleeping, someone decided to just come by and steal all of your gear. No, you don't get any, like, checks to try to find them. I know half the party doesn't sleep, but someone still stole all of your stuff anyway. Haha, this was funny. You're losers. You let someone steal your things.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible DM.
Yeah, but when it's a player, the person who does it thinks that nothing is wrong and the rest of and that the players are overreacting. When it's a player who does it, they think that they're in the clear and that everything is perfect and fine and they should be allowed to. But, like, as a DM, as a good DM, like, you don't do that sort of thing. As a good DM, when there's, like, a combat going around, like, heck, maybe you throw some help in for the party, like... Yeah, like, you know that the party is, like, super weak to fire damage, so when the party goes into, like, you know, the realm of fire to fight the fire dragon, you have a vendor there to sell them some, you know, fire resistance potions or something. You go and you help out the party. When they if the party decides, hey, I want to kill this suspect in the middle of town in front of everybody, you have that suspect, you know, try to kill them first so the party doesn't get, you know, obviously arrested for murder. As a player, you can't really necessarily do some of these same things for the party. You can't convince an NPC to start attacking. But what you can do is like, oh hey, we're going up against a fire dragon. Well, I'm a mage, I'm going to, you know, cast fire resist on the whole party. Or it's like, oh hey, intelligent magic item in 3rd edition, whatever. In 3.5e, they can take haste as a level 1 spell, because haste is on a level 1 spell thing. So I pretty much always take haste. It does nothing for me, but I could cast it on, like, the fighter, give them an extra attack each turn. Level 1, that's like, you know, 1 extra attack. But it's like, I will allow them to do more instead of making my... I will do a bit less, aka, like, say, not magic missile 1 enemy, to allow an ally to do more. Give the fighter +1 attack against an enemy. Because in the headspace of the DM, that's what you're supposed to do. The DM isn't going to fight the monsters. At most, they will help the players fight the monsters. That's just what you're supposed to do. So when I'm actually a player, that's what I still want to do. If I just wanted a story where I have my character go be brave warrior, fight monsters, blah blah blah, I'm a writer. I can just write that. I don't need to play in someone else's world and, you know, write a story about how my character was so brave and bold and killed the Minotaur. It's like, no, I can just write that. Or, heck, don't even have to write it. I can just visualize that happening. Yeah, cool, that's pretty neat. Yeah, there were some setbacks there. The sword broke. But then used the remainder of the sword to still finish off the Minotaur. Killed it off by making it fall into a pit trap. I don't need to play a game for my character to do well, like... So it's like, okay, well then why do I want to play? Yams and carrots. And it's like, I don't know why I want to. I just feel like I'm supposed to want to. I believe, Azura, you pointed out the suggestion to use the stick spell, like from Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
And that made me want to just have, like, a D&D character who's, like, a skateboarder. Which, I did something similar in Shadowrun once. Because you can get You can get roller blades as a weapon. You can't get rollerblades as not a weapon, oddly enough. Even though rollerblades, one of rollerblades' key components is that people won't know that it's a weapon, but you can't have it be not a weapon. It's very strange. Regardless, it was a lot of fun having a character who, like, I had to keep track of, like, oh no, there's, like, stairs here, I can move differently. Imagining something like that in D&D, it's like, oh, hey! You know, increased movement speed, but at the cost of, like, you can't really run it through most types of terrain. Heck, maybe I just want to run Shadowrun. But not run. Play Shadowrun or Savage Worlds again. More realism-based tabletop games. But it's like, I don't want the realism, and I don't want the... How to say? I don't want the traditional stuff that comes with tabletop games. So, in many times, I've seen people, like, playing D&D, and it's like, yeah, this is my character, human fighter with, like, dire, who took exotic weapon proficiency, dire flail, because that's the best weapon in, like, the core rulebook. So, obviously, that's the weapon that I use. I have power attack, I have cleave, like... So this is just a cookie cutter of every single other person who plays this, right? Like, what if... It's like... Could you run a fighter that uses, say, a different weapon? It's like, oh, well, you could, but you would be a terrible fighter, and there'd be no point in the party keeping you around if that's what your character did. And it's like, cool, let's do that then. Let's not optimize our characters just for combat. Yeah, I know that combat is the only part of the game you pay attention to. It's like, you know what, screw it. Let's make characters and use templates. No one wants to use templates in D&D because templates supposedly suck. Taking a level of a template is, according to several people online, and some that I've met in person, strictly worse than taking a class level of any possible given class ever, no matter what the class is or what the template is. It is always, always, always infinitely better, or at least it is always, always, always just plain better to take an extra class level than to take a level of a template. Is what they've told me. And I'm like, alright, cool. I'll take the templates and still win at D&D. Because screw you. people say stuff like, oh, a paladin and monk are terrible. It's like, cool, I'll play a paladin monk and take templates. Because I don't care about not being combat proficient. I don't want... If I were to join a D&D game and it was like, hey, here are like 3 characters you can play. Every one of the 8-person party is playing one of these 3 characters, so you have to play one too? No bloody way I'd play that game. I don't... I remember I was once actually in a game that was kind of similar to that, kind of. It was essentially like PHP only, except that the DM has like a bunch of homebrew stuff that they've added to it. It's like, was it like you're not allowed to play certain classes, like, and any classes that you do play have a whole field of homebrew to them. I think I played a ranger, because you know how like wizards and sorcerers and stuff, they gain back their spells each day?
Sure.
In their game, they gain back their spells each week. You cast your spell, you're not getting that back for another week. And I think we started at like level 1. It's like, cool, I can have like 2 magic missiles a week. And it's like, that feels like it's supposed to be some sort of a limiter to make spellcasters a bit weaker, to put them more on par with martial characters. But you could absolutely just say, like, okay, let's go on an adventure. Here's our first encounter. I use all of my spells. Cool, I'm going to go back to town and just sleep for a week until I get all my spells back. Okay, I slept for a week and got my spells back. Cool, let's go back on another single session. You can just do that in D&D. Like, oh well, who cares?
Yeah, that seemed rather short-sighted of that planning, yeah.
The DM also had other issues that are not part of this main point that I'm complaining about. One of the things was a house rule that players must play a character of their own gender, because they had experienced so many guys playing as women just to play as a stereotyped version of a woman, that he's like, nope, nope. But instead of saying, if you're a guy, you must play a guy character, said you have to play a character of your own gender, which, given the reason given, sounds like, okay, that's whatever. But we get into, like, the second game together, and he said, oh, I thought your first character was a guy. And it's like, oh, I see you didn't even read the backstory. You asked me to write about my character. The DM asked me to... The DM, partially randomly generated a backstory for my character. Like, oh, you have, like, 3 older brothers, 1 older sister, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, write a backstory with these things about your character. It's like, what if I wanted my character to be an only child? Well, screw me, I guess. Not allowed. And if the DM had actually read and paid attention to the backstory, they would have realized that my character actually was female. But DM apparently didn't care enough to read the backstory that they had asked me to write. I understand players writing super big backstories and the DM going like, yeah, I don't have time to read all of that. DM asked me to write it. He could have at least read it. It feels like I was the only player who actually paid attention to the DM's, like, homebrew stuff. Including the DM. Because the DM would, like, say or do something, and I go, hey, wait, doesn't that contradict your homebrew? And the DM's like, well, I guess that doesn't happen then. It's like, you're the one who wrote it. You can try to pay attention. It's not my fault you included homebrew that you then forgot. Like, Yeah, this is me more complaining about this one guy's campaign, which I'm pretty sure I've done before anyway. Second, yeah, we're going into like the second game, like same group of players. No one else has decided anything on their character yet, because whatever, first session's in like, 2 weeks, whatever. Like, day one of being told that there's another campaign. Like, I read through some of the homebrew stuff, and I find it's like, oh, like, this race can fly. I don't know, Aarakocra or something, basically. Oh, it's like a bird race, they can fly. That sounds super cool. It's in the homebrew stuff, and it says that we can use it, so I'm gonna use that for my character. Also says, like, they do not get along well with humans or dwarves. Period. So I talked to the rest of the potential party, I'm like, oh, hey, so they don't have the character, like, anything of their characters thought up yet? Everyone's like, no. So I go, okay, cool. I want to play this Aarakocra thing, but it says that they do not get along with humans or dwarves, so I'd like to ask if everyone else can avoid playing a human or dwarf, because I want to go with this thing. No response from anybody, because of course not. No one says a bloody word about character creation for like until session 1 starts. And so I think there were 5 other players. 4 of them played humans, 1 played a dwarf.
Odd.
So either they completely missed what I said and thought that it was please play it, but when I had asked about it, everyone apparently could not continue reading in like the Discord chat between the point of me asking, hey, have you thought up ideas for your characters yet? And please don't play a human or dwarf. They just couldn't read anything in between that. Just like, have you read your characters yet? No. I'm gonna turn off Discord, disconnect, throw out my internet. I said no. Why could they have been asking such a weird question? Of course I haven't started my character. I'll stop. It's like, I will ask no follow-up questions and completely disregard anything that happens from this point forward. Surely they didn't have a reason for asking. Alright, what do you mean it's at nighttime already? What do you mean I spent the whole day in here? Huh? I mean, it's already like midnight. What do you mean my phone keeps My phone keeps making weird connection noises, as if it's trying to connect to something but can never manage it. But anyway, whatever. So yeah, I was all hyped up about what seemed to be an exciting D&D game, because, like, rarely ever get to play Gestalt. I actually had a kind of round-robin Gestalt campaign going once. There were 3 of us in total, so we all took turns, like, running, like, 3 different games, with the other 2 people were playing just Gestalt characters. It's kind of fun, although I took most of the time DMing. I think one of them ran, like, 1 session, and the other one ran, like, 2 or 3. Again, I have DM'd more than I have played. I am the forever DM, and I just want to play some weird, silly character that... Whatever. I want to play a skateboarder in D&D world, because why not, right? I want to play someone who's basically a paladin, but not actually a paladin. I mean, it's like, here we have your humble mage with a giant shield and a handgun. Because the handguns were listed in the homebrew section of the Discord server, so we were clearly allowed to have them. But when I asked the DM a question about it, the DM never responded. Maybe having 8 players was way too much for that DM to handle. I don't know what it is about bad DMs thinking, well, that having more players is going to make their games better. I find that joining a group with so many players, there's just more of a chance of one of those players to be particularly problematic and ruining it for everybody. I guess in that last game, that was me? Question mark. Gee, if only they had told me what I had apparently done wrong, maybe I could try to use that as a learning experience and improve myself as a person. I guess I'm going to continue to be a royal trouble indefinitely. Now, if you excuse me, I should probably start getting ready, because I have an in-person board game group meetup happening in roughly 3 hours. One of these notifications was the host of it telling me that they'll arrange for me to get a ride to the meetup. That is very considerate.
Yes.
Whew.